Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This video is a one-story video based on a post from Am I the A-hole, so if you want to get started with the story, just go ahead and use the timestamps below the video. Now, I'd like to thank all of you that support me and my videos. It means a lot to me that you do, so thank you so much, and I hope you keep enjoying the content. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user AggravatedSib00. Am I the a-hole for saying no when my family said I should let my sister have her honeymoon at my house? Backstory. My house used to belong to my parents, but they sold it to me in 2017. It had been a family vacation home of sorts. Every couple of years, when my grandparents were still alive, they'd invite us kids up there for a week. Fast forward to the end of 2016. My sister got accepted to her dream college. I won't say which, but it's a big one. Everyone was excited and proud of her, me too. But a week after that, my parents called asking if I'd found a house yet. I was looking for one, and my family knew it. I'd been saving up since I started my first job at 20. I said no, so my dad suggested I buy the lake house from them. I asked why they wanted to sell it. Turns out, sis didn't have any savings for college and didn't get some scholarship like she'd planned, and our parents couldn't afford to pay for everything either. I asked why she didn't get student loans, and they said they didn't want her ruining her credit. So their solution was to sell the lake house and use the money from that to finance her college. I had lots of good memories from that lake house, so eventually I agreed. I work via computer, so after getting a good internet connection out there, I moved right in, and been there since. My girlfriend moved in permanently last year before lockdown, and it's been pretty blissful. 2019, my sister and her college boyfriend got engaged. Parents agreed to pay for her wedding. But like with every other wedding around then, things got set back. Sis had to postpone her wedding until this year. She plans to have it in December. I even agreed to be in the bridal party. Issues came up recently when my sister asked where I was going to stay for the 2 weeks after her wedding. Puzzled, I answered, "My house?" She got a sour look and said that wouldn't work. Her and her fiance would be there and they wanted private time. I asked why they'd be at my house, and she said that's where they were having their honeymoon. 2 weeks alone at a lake house. I said that was news to me. She insisted our parents said it was fine, but I said it wasn't their place to make decisions about my house. After arguing, she called our parents, who said I was being unreasonable. I said I don't want my sister and her fiance christening their new union by effing in my house. They said I was being gross and selfish. I said no again, so sis threatened to remove me from the bridal party. I just shrugged and said, okay. She starts crying, saying she already couldn't have her dream wedding like she wanted, and now I was trying to ruin her honeymoon too. I told her to rent a hotel room like every other newlywed couple, then hung up. She's not speaking to me, and I'm uninvited to the wedding. Our parents keep calling me and saying I should do this for her since her wedding is only 1/3 what she wanted it to be. But I'm not comfortable with them staying unsupervised at my house. They're making me feel like a monster for saying no. Am I the a-hole? Wow, entitled much? No, OP, you're not the a-hole. I mean, your sister is definitely spoiled by your parents, but I really don't understand why she feels she's entitled to your house. That's just ridiculous. The weird thing is that nobody ever asked you to. I mean, it was news to you when she said, "So, where are you staying for 2 weeks?" What? I'm staying at my house. But then your parents go and say, you're being selfish, and that she said that your parents were okay with them having the honeymoon at your house? This is just really weird. And also, your parents really suck. Their logic about, oh, you should do this for your sister because her wedding isn't as big as she wanted it to be. What the hell kind of argument is that? That's just stupid. I am very much at a loss with this whole story, OP, but the one thing I am certain about is that you are not the a-hole. What do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say. What About Today's says, not the a-hole. They don't have money to cover for her education to the point of selling a house, but they do for her wedding? She doesn't get to guilt you for already not having her dream wedding because she chose to get married at a time in which she still depends on her parents. What she needs is a reality check, not a wedding. Until your parents stop treating her like their little princess, she's gonna be a lost cause, which you don't have to take any responsibility for. And OP responds, I actually worry about this a lot. I wonder how she's going to survive after our parents pass away, because they're not young anymore. They're getting old, and once they're gone, I'm not taking their place to coddle her. Wingding456 says, not the a-hole. Does your sister actually know you bought the house from your parents so they could fund her college? This is so weird. I wonder if she thinks they're just letting you live there and they have been too embarrassed to tell her. And OP responds, I don't know. I never brought it up with her actually. I just figured she knew. Rich TMA says, it's weird that your parents would help your sister plan a honeymoon to your house without asking you. Has there been an apology for that, along with berating you? Not the a-hole. And OP responds, no, I get the feeling they still view the house as theirs since they owned it for so long, but it's not a family vacation home anymore. It's my house. OP's edit. Well, learned something new today. I spoke to my sister like a few people suggested and asked her if she knew that the lake house was legally my house, as in, I bought it years ago. She was not, in fact, aware of this. She was under the impression from our parents that they were letting me live there rent-free. I corrected her and even showed her proof that they sold the house to me. And when she asked why they sold it, I was honest and said it was to pay for her college tuition and lifestyle. She became quiet after that and we soon hung up. No idea what's going to happen now. Wow, OP, your parents, top-notch parenting right there. And not just that, they're not very clever. I mean, for starters, they sell the house to you to pay for her lifestyle and college tuition and all that. They never tell her. And then when she says she wants to go to have the honeymoon at your house, which they know it's yours because they sold it to you, they're like, sure, no problem, that can totally happen. And they call you selfish for saying no. It's like, your parents are really not that bright. Were they kind of expecting you to bail them out and actually go along with this lie just to coddle your sister even further into her bubble? That's just so weird. Anyway, like I said in the beginning, there's an update to this story, so let's continue with that and see what happened after this. Crap went down after my original post, and I couldn't find time to make any new edits before I received judgment. Not everything is resolved here, so I'm not making a final update yet. It was suggested I say that until I know things are resolved. But here's a comment to update everyone who has been asking for one since my first post. My sister did confront our parents about them selling the house. They tried playing dumb, asking her what she meant, but went quiet after she told them she knew they did and texted them a picture I sent her of the contract I signed when buying the lake house, proving I owned the place. My sister was furious and said they lied to her about who owned the house and let her look like a lunatic. They went in circles, saying they definitely told her about it, but she must have forgotten since she was so focused on her first year of college. But my sister is adamant that she wouldn't forget about something as big as them selling a whole house. Sister called me back the next day and asked if we could talk. She said she felt like she didn't know what was the truth anymore. I didn't blame her. So we sat and talked for what felt like hours. We hadn't talked that long since we were kids. It was sort of nice at some parts, but it was also upsetting in more parts because it shed some nasty light on a lot of stuff from our childhoods. She asked how much they sold the house for. I told her close to $100K, and she said that didn't add up. According to her, all 4 years of her tuition cost just under $50K. She revealed that she had to get a job and rent an apartment with a friend to be able to afford living by her school. Which shocked me, and I told her how our parents told me they paid for everything for her: books, groceries, her apartment, etc. That means there's about $50,000 from the sale of the house that's currently unaccounted for. She did apologize for being rude to me the other day. She said she hadn't known about me owning my house and wouldn't have acted that way if she'd known I actually bought it. Our parents made it seem like they were just letting me live there for free out of the kindness of their hearts, and she felt jealous that I got to live rent-free in a vacation home while she was busting her ass to make a name for herself in her field after 4 years of college, on top of having a crappy minimum wage job. She felt bitter because she felt like I always ruined things for her. I asked her what she meant by that, and it turns out our parents were blaming me for stuff behind my back to my sister for practically our entire lives. Like the time they pulled her out of ballet class when she was 7. They told her it was supposedly because they had to pay for my classes and couldn't afford the classes on top of that. Or when they wouldn't pay for her to join Girl Scouts with her friends, they said it was because I needed braces and that was more important than Girl Scouts. But I told her that Dad's insurance had paid for both of those. So it sounds like they just didn't want to pay for her classes or Girl Scouts and decided I was a nice clueless patsy to use so their precious baby girl wouldn't hate them. I've gone no contact with my parents. Not sure if my sister is as well. I sent them one text saying after this, I don't think I can stomach speaking to them for a very long time, if ever again. And if they have any respect for me, they'll not try to contact me. Then I blocked their number and also blocked them on everything I could think of. There is so much more, but I don't want this comment to get too long. Any questions you guys have, I'll try my best to answer them, but things are still happening. Wow, I'll say it again, OP. Your parents suck big time. If their goal was actually to have two siblings dislike each other for their whole life, well, they did a tremendously good job. What did they think would ever happen if they constantly blamed you for stuff that she wasn't getting that she wanted? Instead of actually teaching their daughter that sometimes in life you just don't get what you want. Which, by the way, is a great way to learn tolerance to frustration. Which is a huge skill that most entitled people don't have. But instead of doing, the parenting thing, they decided, nah, let's just blame it on the sibling. It's much easier, and this way she doesn't get upset with us because we said no. That's just lazy parenting. Now, in the comment section, OP does talk a little bit more about how this behavior from their parents, about blaming OP for everything the sister didn't get, impacted their relationship and the way the sister acted towards OP. So let's continue with that. In a comment, OP hints about some mistrust he has towards her sister in the following way. He says, I wouldn't have let her stay unsupervised, there's a reason, at my house for any amount of time anyways. I would have considered letting her visit while I was there, but no, there's no way I'd have let her use my house while I'm away. Now, because of this comment, people were like, well, what's the reason? What's the reason? And OP had this to say. Up until I moved out of our parents' house, my sister was constantly stealing my things. It started when we were kids, toys, and continued into middle school, video games, and then into high school, electronics. I couldn't keep anything to myself if she wanted it. I had to hide any snacks I bought, and God forbid I buy a t-shirt or jacket she liked. It would go missing soon after she saw it. Our parents never did anything about it. Siblings should always share. And I know we're both older and there's a chance she grew out of her theft phase, but I still don't want her in my house unsupervised. Years of having my things stolen doesn't disappear because I'm living on my own. So after the update, the community asked OP if they spoke to the sister regarding the sister stealing stuff and all that. And this is what they had to say. I did actually. She seemed really uncomfortable with the topic of her theft, but I told her I felt like I deserved to know why she did that to me over and over when we lived together. She eventually broke down and admitted that at first it was because of her being mad at me for ruining things for her. So she wanted to upset me like she'd been upset. But then she said our parents really didn't punish her. They didn't care and acted like it didn't matter, so she just kept taking my stuff. I told her that regardless of her reasons for taking my stuff, the theft was a major reason why I didn't want her in my house without me or my girlfriend there. She said that if it helps at all, she doesn't steal anymore, not since her second year of college. She told me she got a taste of her own medicine, but wouldn't specify how. I think whatever it was embarrassing for her. I'm really curious what happened, but we're still trying to get to know each other again, so I don't want to pry and come off as nosy. And there you have it. That is all we know about this story since OP hasn't really updated anymore. In any case, for me, the key takeaways are that the parents effed up their relationship really bad by all their bad parenting decisions. Blaming one sibling for the other one not getting stuff, duh, stupid, and then not correcting the behavior of stealing, which is just ridiculous that they wouldn't do that. But now OP and the sister seemed to be talking things through and getting to know each other again, like OP said just now, and hopefully their relationship will improve. As for the parents, at this point, I don't care. It's good that OP went no contact. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.